From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here in studio with Scott Wright, OSU beat writer. Scott, lots to like about the Oklahoma State defense these days. Playing really well, still showing signs of improvement as this season goes on. And a guy that has not reached a ceiling yet, it doesn't seem like, is Trace Ford, the freshman from Edmond Santa Fe High School. This guy, you would think as a freshman, he's playing a lot of snaps. It's a more physical game than in high school. You would think he might get to a point where he'd physically kind of start to wear down. No sign of that just yet. Not right now. He hasn't hit the ceiling, hasn't hit the wall. No. So things are going good for him right now. So Trace Ford was a guy that nobody was really talking about in the preseason as a guy even having the potential to play as a true freshman. And he comes out there and gets some work early, has a couple of impact plays at the Oregon State game, and has just gradually seen his snap count increase, and they're trying to manage that. They felt like they got a little bit out of control with it. You know, he started the last 3 games, got up to over 60 snaps in one of those. They backed him back down. He played about 40 plays against Kansas, and that's probably the range that they like to keep him at because they want him on the field, but they don't want to wear him out. This is a guy who has added a lot of weight since high school. High school, he was a 3-sport athlete and didn't really have that time to really focus on the weight room. Once he got to Oklahoma State last summer, was able to bulk up a lot, so he's playing with a lot more weight than he ever has in his career. But he's got a lot of speed, and that's been a way for him to really make an impact. He seems like a guy too, Scott, when you look at Jim Knowles' defense and the way it's evolving in year 2. That these type of guys, having 3 down linemen and then kind of a hybrid, a guy that, can be at the end and rush or be more in a linebacker role. Trace Ford's a guy that has moved around a lot, and it seems like that's kind of where we see sort of that evolution of the kind of players Knowles has, the kind of players he wants, and what we're seeing out there. I mean, the product has been really good, but that's a little bit of a change from what Jim Knowles brought in. Yeah, it absolutely is. He sort of adapted that with Jordan Brailford last year because he realized that he had a guy that had those kind of skills. And Brailford's sort of cut from that same cloth. He's not as big and physical as Brailford yet, but he's a little bit quicker probably than Brailford was last season. So he's got a chance to do a lot of different things. Brock Martin, say a veteran guy, he's a redshirt sophomore, but he's an experienced guy who really learned this defense well last season, and playing in that backup role behind Jordan Brailford has taken Trace Ford under his wing and really sort of helped him along, help him understand the game. And Martin is one of those guys that is constantly battled through injuries and fought through things, and you never know it when you're talking to him because he's such a tough guy. But he's a great example for for Trace Ford to follow. I get the 2 mixed up. They're both number 94. It's all kinds of a mess. But Ford has really learned a lot from Brock Martin. That's been a really important relationship. And I think it's going to continue to pay off for Trace Ford. Didn't you even have a moment during the Kansas game where you sort of got confused and thought, no, it's not. It's not Jordan Brailford. Exactly. It's Trace Ford. Exactly. Well, we'll see if Trace Ford can continue his hot streak. Like Scott said, he hasn't hit any drywall yet. I don't know if it's high or low, but he hasn't hit it. We'll see if he can continue that at West Virginia on Saturday, 11 o'clock kick for the Cowboys. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at oklahoman.com and every day in the Oklahoman.